Okay, this is live. Hold on just a minute. Let's see if I can share out the link. Share. There's the share button. Let's see. Oh, and there's more options. Hold on. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm live for just a minute. For a last supper before Siberia. Before Siberia. Hold on. Do this right. Come join me. Come join me. Can I do an exclamation mark? Not that. I can't. Maybe I can. Yes. Okay, hold on. Copy that. Select all. Copy. Post. That posted out. Let me try this again. Oh, hi, Ray. Hi, Reka. I'm good. Hold on. I won't be able to see anything for just a second while I'm sharing this. Let's see. Well, that's going off to Twitter land. It looks like it's still there. I'm live again. I think it took I think that caused it to take a break. Let me put this up against my helmet here and make my coffee. So I'm here at Denny's. Let me see if I can switch the camera. There. This is Denny's in Barstow. I'm trying a different Denny's out. This is the one by the outlet centers. It's breakfast, lunch, dinner, late night. I got this corner all to myself. My pack's right there. Got some fresh coffee. Helmet's all ready to go. Got my thingy there. So I am on my way to Siberia Ghost Town. See, let me turn the comment thing on. I'm good, Reka. Thank you for asking. How are you? I hope all is well in your world. Oh, she brought me the right half and half. Isn't that sweet of her? Actually, I'm well, but I'm freezing cold. I've been making this particular video, pretty routinely now. Every time I go out to Siberia now, I stop here at Barstow to have what I'm calling my last supper. Getting ready for Thanksgiving. Me too. And it's kind of becoming a routine. So I typically get in here, turn on the camera, and then order my food, and then talk about where I'm going to go before I get going. Under the Thanksgiving thing, Reka. I had plans for Thanksgiving, but those seem to have changed. See what's happening. I don't know. So this is a pretty big one that I'm doing tonight. I'm going to go to. Here's the plan. So I'm going to go to Siberia Ghost Town. And it's cold. So I'm going to drink a lot of this coffee. I got to be sipping this stuff down. And then when I get to Siberia, it's going to be dark, of course. It's already dark, as you can see. See out there? The bike's parked right over there. You can't quite see it. So when I get there, it's going to be cold, and dark, and only a sliver of moon. So I'm going to need to work fast. I've got a routine. So basically, when I arrive, I pull in on the bike, and I'll make a video as I arrive. I always turn the camera on at Ludlow, and I've even got some theme music that I use. I always play the same music. I've got it all set up in a little playlist. Pop that on, and if you hear the music when I make the Let's Ride videos, the one that takes me to Siberia, that's the same music I listen to as I'm riding. And depending on how fast or slow I go, I might get there on time. Hi, Samantha. Welcome. So when I get to Siberia at night, you come in, you pull in, kind of pulling along Route 66. You just kind of know where it is. I've done it so many times now. It's hard to pick it out otherwise. There's a big tire next to the road there, but you can only see that tire if you're coming from the east westbound. So I'll be coming west eastbound, so I can't see the tire. So what I use to know that I'm almost there is, of course, I can kind of see gauge the railroad. If there's a moon out, there'll be enough of a moon for me to see it tonight, so I can kind of gauge where I am by the railroad. So what do you exactly do? Travel the States? No, I'll answer your question in just a second, Seeker. As I kind of swoop in, then the other landmark I have is I'll go over the riding bridge. And when I pass over the riding bridge, I know I'm about half a mile from the entrance to the Siberia Railroad, Siberia Road. And as I'll begin to slow down, of course there's no traffic. You know, fire up the auxiliary lights so I'll be able to see well, and then swing in at the dirt road, which is really kind of a tricky road because it's pretty slippery. I mean, but it's not hard. But I mean, I wouldn't want to drop the bike, and then just make it up to Ghost Town. Park the bike, pull out the flashlight, check around the ruins of the ghost town, make sure there's nothing there, nobody there, and then set up tent. So Seeker, you asked what I do? I know a lot of people have, or you know, some people have the impression that I do something, but this is my life. And that's as a result of the way that I upload videos. And I've had that misperception. Greetings from Finland. Hello, Dad John. Thank you, welcome. You know, it seems like I have a lot of friends in Finland, and basically in Northern Europe in general. And it's a pleasure. Thank you for joining me. So I was talking about the misperception that people have that this is all I do. And the same thing happened in Japan. And that's because I've had a long standing routine for decades now that every other weekend. Is this my food coming? I didn't order fries like that. Every other weekend, I take one day and go adventuring in the wilderness. And if I can, I do that as an overnight. Ever since my family came back and joined me here in America, I've been able to do that as an overnight event. And that's because I work a normal job. I'm a project manager in an IT organization. I work for a government agency. And so I'm a total worker bee day job type of guy. But I work a special shift that allows, instead of 8-hour days, I work 9-hour days, which means that every other Friday I have off. Now my wife and daughter don't have their every other Friday off, so that's my day. And so what I do is, on a Thursday night before that Friday, I will be all packed up. Again, I have everything in my backpack right there, and the helmet's right here, and gear on the bike. And after work, I just head on out. So I say goodnight, say bye to my family in the morning, and I head on out, and then I head out to the desert. I sleep in the desert, spend a day, and then get back. But while I'm out there, I make a lot of videos. You record 10 videos, and I'll write down material for a blog and a number of different posts, and I'll compile all that stuff. I mean, I'll have it all in my cameras and my notebooks and and then when I get back, it takes me a while. I'll download it all from the various cameras. I have the GoPro here on top of the helmet here. It's my front-facing GoPro. This is the system that brings it on down, connects into the microphone. It comes down here, swoops up here, wraps around, down, and this is a modular helmet, so it can open and close. And you might be able to see, if I open up my visor, that right there, that's the microphone, right there. And so I can talk at that. And then I also have this one over here. This is the rear-facing camera. So if you ever see the videos where I catch activity from the behind, that's that one going. And when I'm commuting, these are running all the time. This took a long time. This helmet is really a mini studio. It took me a lot of trial and effort to get this just right. I'm really pleased with it. So when I get home, I'll download all the video from the GoPro. I'll download all the video from my iPhone. And I'll download all the video from what I call the big camera. And I'll put them on the computer. And then in the evenings, after I get home from work, my wife doesn't get home until later. My daughter's doing her homework. And I'll edit the videos. And then I'll feed those out onto YouTube over the course of the succeeding 2 weeks from there. I think here comes my food. Maybe. I hope so. I'm hungry. Oh, it's not mine. Darn it. So the result is that it looks like this is all I'm doing, but I'm not. It's just every so often, that's all. Well, that's pretty much all I wanted. Oh, no, there was some more to say. So after I arrive at Siberia tonight, and it's funny that I'm not nervous. I should be. Sounds nice you ran into other people doing the same. How nice. Have you run into other people doing the same thing? Never. I'm straining to think if that's ever happened. One time I remember that happening, but I wasn't doing this. I used to be a teacher, and have you ever had to catch your own meal in the wild to get by? Nah, I never had to do that. I have caught, just for interest, when I was a teenager. I remember catching a rattlesnake once and eating it up, and I've eaten a lizard, and I've eaten grasshoppers. But it wasn't because I had to, it was because I wanted to, and those all happened when I was about 16 or so. Kind of an experimental mode. No, to your other question, have I ever run across others in the wild? They're doing this? No. No, there was that one time. There was one time, it happened a couple of times when I was in Japan, and I wasn't doing it in this capacity. I was doing it as a teacher, and I would be out on hiking trails with my students. And yeah, you expect to run people doing that. Oh, great. Yeah, a little bit of warm-up. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it so much.
You're welcome.
There was one time here in the desert, but this was a long time ago. Let me put some more cream in my coffee. And I wasn't very remote, and I just saw a little mountain at the side of the road in the desert, and I stopped my car and climbed the mountain. I was stunned that there was somebody up there, and I think he was pretty stunned too. But otherwise, no. I not only in Japan, I never encountered anybody. Just farmers once in a while, but that would be before the adventure would start. That would be like on a farm road, I would see a farmer. But after I left, and I would always park the car and then leave the farm road and never see anybody in the mountains of Japan. No hikers, nothing. And that was to be expected, because Japanese people in particular tend to take the status quo, take what's the tried and the true and whatever is correct and sanctioned, so to speak. I'm generalizing, but it's generally true. So they would be on the famous trails, where I would be hiking through some trail that connected two villages in the Meiji or Edo period, which hadn't been used forever. And I would just ask some farmers, where would the old trails be, and they would kind of look at me funny, and up that hill, up that mountain, but nobody goes up there. Be careful. But here in America, never would I see anybody. Like where I'm headed tonight, there's no chance. There's no chance that I'll see anybody out there. And there's probably no chance that anyone's been out there for decades, or maybe ever, even, or centuries, or even perhaps even ever. I expect the Native Americans have been out there, especially when it was a colder climate, when it was a wetter climate during the Pleistocene and stuff like that. Well, there's nothing. There's not even any evidence of. There's some places where you can see some Jeep tracks, but that's pretty closer in by Siberia. And even those Jeep tracks are from the lost time, the 30s or the maybe in some places up into the 60s or the 70s in some really weird occasions, but not much. So anyway, let's continue the plan. So after I get into Siberia, I'll park the bike. First thing I do, I even leave the engine running sometimes, is I'll take the pack off. The pack's sitting right there. I'll just dump it. Everything's in there, and I'll just dump that on the ground, and then I'll grab the flashlight out of the container, the holder that's right at the side. Have you ever encountered paranormal activities in your adventure? I'll answer that in just a question seeker, and I'll just end the question in just a moment. So then I will make a kind of little trip around the perimeter of the ghost town, make sure that there's nobody there, wouldn't want to find anybody there. And then, and if there are, then I'll move aside. I'll get out of there. And then I'll set up tent, and then I'll sleep tonight and be in good shape. And then what I plan to do tonight is to get up at 2 or 3 a.m. I haven't quite decided, and start hiking. The pack's all ready to go. I just have to get up and leave the tent out, leave the bike out, and then my goal is Mount Wildness. This is an important hike. If I can make this hike, this will be basically the last hike that I want to make in my life. I mean, I'll make more, but I can basically die content if I can reach that elusive peak of Mount Wildness, which is not a real place. Figure that one out. So Seeker, you asked me about paranormal activity. There was one time when I was I must have been 14 or 15, that I reported seeing Bigfoot. Actually went back and reported it. The Bigfoot Society came out, and I took them on a hike up in the mountains to show them where the Bigfoot had crossed my tent in the middle of the night. I believe that story. Oh, here comes my food. Just a second. Hot dog. Woohoo! Great.
Did you say hot dog?
Yeah, well, I should say, I would say All-American Slam.
That's cute. My son says that too.
Does he? Oh, that's
I
good.
enjoy.
Thank you so much. There we go. I got a carb-heavy meal. This is the All-American Slam with the sourdough toast. It's got the cheddar eggs, sausage, and 2 slices of bacon. And this stuff slathered with the other stuff. And I told her to give me the works. Let me sit you guys right here. While I have my... Hopefully the sound is still decent. Hold on. So, I told that story for... Here, I'll put it right here. I seem like I'm eating when I'm making these videos, huh? I told that story that I saw Bigfoot for 2 decades. I tell anybody, anytime anyone asks, have you ever seen anything paranormal or anything like that? Oh yeah, I sure did. I saw Bigfoot. And just to let you know, what I saw was in the middle of the night, and I wasn't alone. I was with a friend, and he and I we were in the San Gabriel Mountains, just hiking in the middle of nowhere. In the middle of the night, we had 2 tents, and in the middle of the night, something crossed. We heard something coming down the trail. It wasn't really a trail. It was just the side of the mountain. And whatever it was crossed in front of my tent, and the moon was out, and I saw the silhouette of it, and it looked like a man shambling by the tent. Sorry for my bad man eating. I gotta fuel up. I'm finally starting to warm up. That's good. And the next morning, I talked to my friend, and we kind of did this. What was that thing? Did you hear that last night? I don't remember which of us started it. Did you see that thing? Did you see that thing? Did you hear that thing? And before long, within minutes, we had both concluded that we had both experienced something passing before our tents. Looking back, I think our imaginations run away, and I can still see that shambling shape in my mind. That Bigfoot. I can't get it out of my head. Which is interesting because I don't have any good reason to tell you why I believe it's crap. Wait a minute. Except the slight tinge of guilt that I remember. As I shared that story initially with my parents, who then shared it and eventually got to the Bigfoot Society, who sent some guy up with a gun, and I took him up there. And then in the immediate aftermath, every time I told the story, I felt guilty. I I think the reason I felt guilty was because I was making it up. And I knew that I was being dishonest. I knew I had allowed myself to own a tale that would gain me some momentary notoriety, a few minutes, a few hours, a few days, few decades actually of fame of sorts. Are you hoping to find something? Oh yes, please, thank you. Oh, probably that's for hot, freshly warm.
Freshly made.
Yay.
And then if you like a dessert, let me know.
Oh, I will. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're very nice. Let's see, read that comment. What was that? Let's see. Are you hoping to find something in the current outing, and do all journeys need to have something to find in order to give it a semblance of worth? That's a very good question. Hold on, there's two questions there. I'm going to come back to these questions in a second. I'll finish the story about the Bigfoot. Anyway, it was decades later that I would reflect on that story, and I kind of began to stop telling it, and I would think about, what was that guilt I felt? Pretty sure I made it up. I'm pretty sure that there's that youthful excitement and the feedback loop with my friend the next morning, and it had the impression of, making that memory hard and fast in my head. I can still see that figure, but I believe that was a lie. I don't believe there was any Bigfoot. Something did pass me beside our tents. Probably a deer. Well, I should ask for some water. The other time that I saw something was recorded in one of my Japanese videos in Japan. I think it's called the black thing or something or like that. The black thing. There was the black orb thing that came through the forest at me in a bamboo. It was one of those trails I just mentioned, one of those abandoned trails, and I was up on the trail, and it was really dangerous, and it was because Japan used to have all these interconnected trails because back in the old days in the mountains there weren't highways and roads that connected the villages, it would flood out, so there was mountain trails that would connect one village to another, and I would find those and explore those, and this particular one had been all washed out by the edge of the cliff, so I went higher up into the bamboo forest. It was really steep, and I had stopped, and there was just bamboo everywhere, and as I stopped, this black orb shape came through the forest, like kind of bouncing, like almost like a pinball amongst the bamboo trees. It came up and got about 20 feet in front of me and stopped above a fallen bamboo. And I had the camera running at the time, and it captured my response at the whole time. I was like, what the hell? Because I was monologuing like I am now as that thing appeared. So it captured my response. And I still don't know what that was. That was the weirdest thing that I had ever seen. Hold on. See if I can see your messages again. Mode says, are you hoping to find something in your current outing? And do all your journeys need to have something to find in order to give it a semblance of worth? What a great question. Yeah, I do have a goal on this particular outing. That goal is to make it to a mountain that I call Mount Wildness. And to confuse things more, it's not a real place. It's something I made up in Japan. And if you read my book, Going Alone, Mount Wildness is a fictional destination that represents the edge of our fears, of where we're willing to go. And there's two sides of Mount Wildness, the near and the far side. The near is where we can actually approach. The far side is where something called the howling comes, and you don't want to go there. Because if you go there, you'll get back, but part of you won't come back. And I've been searching for Mount Wildness for decades, and I think I found it in the desert, and I'm going there tonight. That's my goal. And do I need to find something to find some semblance of worth? No, I don't need it. That's a really interesting question about the worth thing, because that's the whole premise, or the whole point of the book Going Alone. Because the Going Alone, the book, the subtitle is Discovering a Universe Without Meaning. And then the second book is going to be The Good Life, which is creating a life full of meaning. So it's two sides of a coin. There's another question there. Hold on. Ba-boom. Something new. Samantha asks, are you going to do a mountain video like when you first returned to America? You found aircraft wrecks up there. I don't think so. I don't have any plans to go anywhere other than Siberia. Sorry. There's too much work to do out there. Sorry, I have to promote my website, formulaforworldpeace.com. Yeah, have at it. Formulaforworldpeace.com. Woohoo! It sounds like an ambitious title. Cheers. Good luck and safe on your adventure logging out. Okay, bye, Seeker. Maud says, thanks for the answer, Kurt. Have fun. Looking forward to future updates. Thanks for joining me. So, 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., depending on how tired I am. You're welcome. I'll be up, hoist the pack, off I go. By dawn, I should be at the, what's the place I call the Cold Gate? Simply a break and Rhyolite dike. For breakfast there. Hopefully by 8 a.m. I'll make it to Mount Wildness. It's going to be scary. I'd be a liar if I told you I wasn't scared. I got my emergency beacon. Beacon. So I'll be okay. And with that, I think I'm going to sign off. I'm starting to warm up, but I need to eat fast. Finish this and get on the road. Talk to you guys later. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for having dinner with me. Bye-bye. Here's that anxiety. Always comes. Just before I get here. It's scary. It's really scary, actually. I don't like it so much. I'm about to go over the Siberia bridge now. What I'm really scared of is falling in the sand. This big heavy bike. Here's the Siberia riding bridge. About another half mile. So, less than that. And the tire should be right up here. Just gotta do it. Here we go. Here we go. Thing is, I almost dumped it last time I was out here 2 weeks ago. Stand up on the pegs, back, power through the soft stuff, like right there. That's a little squirrely. Big rocks, more soft stuff. You can do it, Kurt. It's not such a big deal. Oops, sandy stuff right here. Ooh, a little squirrely. It's okay. And we're there. Okay, looks like there's just the lightest of breezes. Not too bad. There's a slight breeze. Okay, let's get the pack off. Get the bike turned around. Still some moonlight. That's good. Let's go put the pack right over here. Turn the turn signal off. But it's cold. It's really cold. Put the pack right over here. But there's some good moon on the... I can see the ruins right over there. Hold on. Damn, music started again. I just can't get over how much life there is out here right now. I don't like it. Okay, let's turn the bike around. See the lights out there in the mountains? There's a... That's either the military or the gas company. There's more over there. I can see airplanes in the sky. It's like my little sanctuary is compromised. Let's turn the bike around. Like it's my little sanctuary. No such thing. This is no sanctuary. This place is a challenging place. Especially cold. You know, another 2 weeks. It's gonna be really cold. A month after that. Don't relish the thought. Okay. I usually park the bike right about here. Let me get out of first gear. Okay, and then I usually leave the bike running as I go investigate the ghost town. Hold on just a second. Not really the ghost town, but I'm going to investigate the ruins over there. Just want to make sure there's nobody there. Because if there is, I don't want to be messing with their peace. I certainly don't want them messing with mine. Let's see. Certainly new graffiti. Still says Turk. Doesn't look like anybody's here. Good chance for a photo. Hold on. It's so cold. Good gosh. Hold on. Take that off. Teeth are starting to chatter. Always gotta take a photo. See if I can do this and get me and the ruins. Hold on. Let's try this. Let's see. I think I'm okay on snakes now. I don't think snakes are going to be a problem. Let's see. That's pretty good. That's kind of a spooky photo. Let's see, nobody here. Good, check right around here. I'd be pretty surprised if I ever found anybody here. Pretty freaked out too, I guess. Let's see, is that any better? That's a good photo. Ghost town selfies. Huh. That's a kind of a freaky photo. I like that last one. There comes the train. Okay, let's get back. You can see the bike over there. I don't think there's any snakes. I think I'm okay. It's hard to believe I'm going to be hiking through here later. Ooh, keep that away from that curtain. I've got to set up a tent now. Sorry, I forgot to put that down. Okay. Body's starting to get the full body shakes now. There is a bit of a wind. You can see the plants moving a little bit. Here comes the train. 3 more. Let's turn the bike up. Okay, time to shut this off and insert my tent. Still on. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Here we are. It sounds a little like Blair Witch, huh? Approaching the Siberia Ghost Town Bridge at night. Nothing down there. Of course not. Of course there's nothing down there. What would I expect? Ghosts? No such thing. At least there's no good reason to think so. Nevertheless, my mind keeps telling me that it's hearing things behind me. Here's my stuff. My chair. My tripod. Chalk's down there. And my writing. Always be ready to die. Make good and effective use of time. Develop and maintain good and sound life principles. Cultivate good emotional reactions. Perform good actions. Recognize true limits and opportunities. The principle of war. The principle of reason. The homunculus. Home of good and evil. And the principle of purpose. It is spooky down here, huh? Got a night hike ahead of me. Let's turn this down. And it's time to stop fiddling around, scaring myself. Turn the light off. See the train? Lonesome sound. And it goes down. Nothing is nonsense. Shut off the lights. Face the dark. Greetings from under the bridge. I keep hearing stuff behind me. Well, no, there's nothing down there. Here's the writing into the bridge. Rafters above. Train passing out there by Siberia. Soon it'll pass and the darkness will be back. But it was coming all the while anyway. Anyway, turn off the lights. There's no ghosts here after all. Even though my mind keeps telling me I hear something behind me. Good night, everybody. Just a little bit of coffee here as I get ready to hike. Actually, kind of cheating on my time. Should have got up at 2 a.m. instead of 3 a.m. Make this next cup really strong. Yeah, baby. It's burned up so much time. That's all right, because I'm not too worried about making any particular destination. My goal is to go out and back such that I can be back here by 2 p.m. And I just started the stopwatch a few minutes ago. That'll give me time for a break on the way back. If I can make it to Mount Wilderness, good. If I can't, that's all right. The wind is very gentle, very mild right now. Not bad at all, but still biting. So I had to throw on more layers of clothes. which I think I'll deposit at Campo number 1, which is gonna, with some water, which is gonna mean that I'm gonna need to come back the same way I go, which I don't like to do, but I don't want to carry all this clothes and or all this water with me all the way out and about. Okay, there's that. So let me see. I'm gonna get my stuff in order, so as soon as I'm done here, I can go. But I just need to cool it. It's okay if I don't make it to Mount Wildness, because Mount Wildness isn't real. So, see you on the highway, on the trail. Okay, it's kind of fuzzy and blurry. I don't know exactly where I'm going. I've only got this dim light on my head. See? It's probably not so dim. Sun's starting to rise over there. See that? You can see, it can't be Venus, or is it? Is it Venus? I guess it is Venus. There's the morning star. Turn this light off, maybe you can see a little better. There's Venus. Glimmer of sunlight. There's the Black Mountain, what I used to call Mount Wildness. Not Mount Wildness. I'm just trudging my way through the desert. Mindful of snakes, although I don't think I'll see any. It's a little too cold, I think, now. But my light seems to be going dim. We might have old batteries. It's okay if it goes out. The dawn will be here in under an hour, I think. Ran into 2 soulless beasts earlier. I think they were, I ran right into them. Got lost. I was going the wrong way. And I did my Bible study. Keep stumbling. It's uneven terrain. And it's going to get worse as I go, especially when I get past the cold gate, where it's really uneven. But here's a little, see how this is kind of like an uneven surface here? You just kind of step like this, and it just kind of slips like that, and then this is a little like a gully. If I don't see this gully as I'm walking, look how my feet just fit right through it. You can easily put your foot in that and twist and go all over the place. That's what I'm really worried about, is twisting a leg and being, kind of stuck. Well, with that, I'm going to shut off and pay attention to where I'm looking. Okay, see you. Here's a shot of the dawn. Plus, you can see Venus out there, too. Right there. Very nice. Darkness elsewhere. My destination is this way. Don't trip. See ya. I don't think you guys can see it. Just down here, there's a really deep gorge that runs along here. I don't think it's coming through on the camera. I know where I am. It's not where I need to be. I need to be about half a mile that way. I got screwed up around here in the dark last night, or this morning coming in. So my plan is just to continue up. I wonder if there's enough light to see me. Oh, just barely. Hi. I'm going to continue up here. I should be able to get around this gorge. Well, I know I'll be able to get around it, but it's going to take me out of my way. I've already lost a good deal of time by getting turned around in the dark, crossing the Badlands. Not the Badlands, the Flatlands. There's a gorge right there. Kind of screwed me up. That's pretty sky. But at the same time, this is an opportunity for a little Stoic self-restraint and recognition of what is and what is not within my control. Although it would be within my control to bring a map or a compass. I don't know, to consider one of my own principles, which is the principle of recognition of true limits and true opportunity. I consider events like this an opportunity. Wow, what lovely colors. Let's see if I can capture that. This is an opportunity. I'm about to get it that way. Okay. Trying to hike on. Up and up. I don't imagine this is coming through too clearly, but that's an old mining claim right there. A cairn of rocks, pile of rocks with a marker in it. So this is someone's mining claim at one time right here. Interesting. Greetings from truly the edge of deep water. This right here. I made a mistake, but it took me to a good place. This is the place referenced in my book as the edge of deep water. And that is the deep water wilderness back over there. Back this way is Siberia Ghost Town, which you can see way off in the distance. There's a... Can I use the spot? Have I screwed up my magnifier? Hold on. I think I've screwed up my magnifier because I put some tape on. So I can't do it. I can't even get focused. Anyway, way down there is Siberia. Right down there, there's some lights you can see. Those are the signal machines. There's some light you can see over there, over by the military base. Well, there's no military base, but there's some soldiers out there in the desert, way over there. And then you can hear and maybe see the train going by. Westbound, very long train. Anyway, this is it, and that is Black Mountain right over there. The Watcher's Peak is just over there, and the Miner is right down there. All places described in my book. That's the canyon right there that I talk about, and the anxiety hike coming up that last bit. And the anxiety hike actually ends right here. The slippery bit that I talk about in the anxiety hike is right down there. It really is slippery and tricky, and that's deep water out there. It's passing through Siberia now. Two more. And here we are at the edge of the deep water wilderness, and look at that sunrise. Okay, now I've got to scramble down into deep water, make my way. Probably the best way to get out of here. Maybe I'll try something different, which I've never done, which is to go straight down here, up through there. I know if I go out that way, that will lead me to Campo number 1, but this is going to screw up my timing for my overall plan. But that's okay, because Mount Wildness doesn't really exist anyway. Let's go. All right, I've decided to do my good life meditation as I make a difficult scramble from the edge of deep water. This is down into the deep water wilderness. I'm saying goodbye, bye to civilization. You can see a train winding its way. The tail end of the train is winding its way past the very edge of Siberia, down there. You can kind of just see it right there. Where is it? See two little, there it is, that's Siberia right there in the center. The darker colored cars are passing by. Or maybe those are locomotives. And the bike's down there, and then the end of the train is over here. It's curving up, making the way. It's up the, what is that? The grade, I can't remember what it's called. And then we'll go up there, and eventually we'll hear some blasts of horns as it goes past Ash Hill right there. But we've got a difficult scramble ahead of us. We've got to go down this thing. This This is difficult right here. It's slippery, and it's I could slip and get hurt. So I gotta do this carefully, and I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna challenge myself to do it while doing the good life meditation. That's Mount Wild. That's not Mount Wildness. That's what I originally thought was Mount Wildness, but it's not. I call that Black Mountain now. Ooh, I can see the cairn at the very top. Can you see that? Look at that. Can you see that? There is a little rock cairn right at the top of that thing. And then the Watcher is down here to the right. You can't see it. The Miner from the book is right down there too. But I said all this before. Here we go. The Good Life Meditation is my daily endeavor. Daily endeavor. We'll probably have the train accompanying us as we all the way through. You can kind of hear the train echoing through this land here. Look at all those lines, the fault lines, I think they are, of the mountain laying over. This is my daily activity to remind myself of my objectives and principles that I use to live a good life. I've been doing this for well over a year now. It took me about 6 months to develop these 6 and 20, as I call them, 6 objectives and 20 principles. 6 months to lay them out. I started off with 5, and then of course 6, and then 7. Before I know it, I had a whole handful, 2 handfuls, and then I decided to categorize them as objectives and principles, respectively. And then they were slowly added to over months. And then finally, I kind of settled on what I got. There's some volcanic gas right here. The difference between the objectives and the principles is that the objectives are what I'm striving for. These are the things that I want to have, the quality and characteristics of my life. I want to realize these things, be the kind of man that lives in this way. These are the things that if I'm doing and I'm achieving these things, then my life is worthwhile. My life has meaning. There's Ash Hill. Another 4 blasts. Oh wait. Now one short and one long. This hike's not so bad. Not so slippery, but that's when you can get it, right, Kurt? Okay, where is the Watcher? No, the Miner. I don't see the Miner. But this is the wash that I described in going alone at the end of the anxiety hike, right over there. This is, in fact, probably just about the place. Although I think where I climbed was right over there, and it was slipperier than this. Okay, I need one hand to have one hand free to kind of, because this is a little slippery right here. Little momentum. Shall I go to the right or the left? I think I'll go to the right. This is the path of wildness, where you just kind of use a little bit of your gut feelings. Slippery. Just to run with it. Okay. Oh, now we're down the wash. Now the train sound is gone, but we might hear it again. Good. This is going to take us through an interesting place. I think there's a pretty interesting little canyon lands over there. Look at that color. Wow. So, the objectives are the way I want to live. They are the goal. The principles are the means of getting there. The signposts along the way. The rules. The prescriptions. The regulations. Okay, let's use this steady cam for all it's got, Kurt. Hold this camera steady. Let's go through winding along. Okay, I'll try to focus less on me and more on this landscape. Look at that hole up there. Isn't that interesting? If I had a little Japanese deity statue, that would be a good place for it to look out. Wouldn't that be something to find later? Somebody in a future generation. I've got one. Maybe I'll put it in there. There's an idea. I have one. So, let's do it. as I walk along the path of wildness, trying to hold the camera as steady as possible. First objective is to be always ready to die. Am I ready in this moment as I take these steps, if they are my last? Am I ready to carry into nothing without a backwards glance, or a longing wish, or a moment of regret, or any type of a feeling in any way? Look at that. Here's an old mine. Look at that. So here's the mine. That's the cairn some miner put there to claim this spot. And here's the tin that he used to put his claim in. It might still be in there. Should be a paper claim in there. And he would have put it up here. Or maybe there's still the claim in there. Well, that's more like a survey marker, huh? Yeah, that's a geological survey. Look at that. What does that say? I need my glasses. I can't read it. I can't even tell if it's up right. Yeah. Land Office of Geological Survey. So that isn't. But that was, maybe it was a mining claim at one time, because that tin belongs to those claims. Or maybe there's another one nearby. There's lots of them up here in these lands. You can almost see the tail end of the train right over there. So close, but yet so far. That's a song, right? What's this? That's just a rock. Okay, we're gonna go down here and make a change. Man, I really feel it now. I really feel myself walking on the path now. It kind of feels like a little bit like Superman. Even the way I hold my arms, you know, it's that kind of that masculine strutting. And it's earned, because I overcame my fears. Came out here last night through the cold and the dark and the lonesome. And here it is. Now look at that. Now if it sounds like I'm boasting, maybe it is. But I think it's earned. Look at that. There's another cairn up there. In fact, that looks a little like the Watcher, but I don't think it is. Okay, that's worthy of a photo right there. Look at that. Hold on. Bear with me while I get my camera out for a photo. Hopefully you're not in a hurry. There we go. You know, it's like a satisfaction in the moment. Here's the path of wildness, left or right? Well, clearly right. Left is on the way out. There is a cave right over there, actually, down there. It's kind of a ways away, though. I think it's something someone built into the. I don't want to go down there. I've already burned enough time. But something I'll show you later. I found that I think a miner built to escape from the heat. They kind of dug a little cave into the side of the hill. Ooh, look at that. That's a great view. One more photo. Sorry, I promise you I'll get back on topic. Okay. Look at this now. I could go up that way. That might take me kind of in the direction I want. Or I could follow the stream course. I think I'm going to do that. So this is a good moment to talk about that, being always ready to die. Because sometimes I think we resist the natural conclusion of our life. Look at the plant life here. Because of the fact that we think we've got business still yet to do. So I try to have my business as settled and finished as possible, as much as possible. And this includes with my personal affairs, including my finances, my familial and relationship affairs, am I settled with the people in my life, and my art. Have I said what I wanted to say in this brief moment of time that I have? I think I have. and all 3 counts. Could do a little better in the finances, but my family will be fine. I did the best I could, and every day I work harder at it, try to make it better. That's my first objective, to be always ready to die. See the pole up there? That's another mining claim. I mean, these are old. I mean, really old. See right up there, pole sticking up? There's several of them through here. I visited them in the past. Okay, here, should I go to the right or to the left? Methinks to the left. The next principle, no, objective, is good and effective use of time. There's so little of it. Wasn't it David Carradine when he died that said so much wasted time? I don't want that to be on my lips. I don't want to, like my wife says, spend my time like free water. Those mountains, homes in Japan that had the pipes dug buried right into the mountainside, and the taps and their sinks ran 24 hours a day, free water. In fact, those houses, many of those are so abandoned now, but the water still flows. You can walk past them and still hear the water flowing. I don't want to spend my time like I think that I've got time like that water that's going to carry on and on and on. Here's a pile of volcanic ash right here. Tooth, is it called? It's very, 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 very crumbly. If you can break through it. And then very ashy. Left. No wasting time. Number 3. Development and maintenance of good and sound life principles. That's the 6 and 20 that I'm reciting now. Spend time in life to build these up initially, and then work to reinforce them and uncover if they're really sound. Continually do that. That's why I recite these every day. I usually ask myself about one of them. Is it really a good and sound life principle? What's the difference between good and sound? Good in terms of helping me to achieve the objectives that I want, namely my main objective, which is virtue. Here we go. This is the end of the line. I didn't think we'd come to the end of the line. I kind of made another, this is like the adventure of all the wrong turns. Oh, this volcanic ash, but I know where I am. Campo number 1's up that way. Ooh, this is really soft. Look at this. Look at that. Oh, I gotta do, I would use this for, save that in your mind for a second for principle number 6, which is the atomic principle. So just put a pin in that. I'll pick one. Okay, how about the atomic principle? Okay, I usually pick one to then recite, or not recite, but to put it under the microscope and ask myself, is this actually a good principle? So let's pick number 6, or objective. Ooh, there's another digging through. The atomic principle, which basically states, there must have been rain out here. Oh, there's a little bit so long. Oh, we're going to come to that mining claim. The atomic principle basically states that everything is bits and pieces. As I like to say, we're flowing. Look at that. Would you look at that? There's a mine. That's kind of spooky. We got to go over there. See that? Now tell me, that doesn't make the skin on the back of your neck crawl just a little bit. It does me. I've never seen that before. We're going to have to go check that out. If I can get up there. That's pretty high up there. Let's go check this cairn out first. I may not even get close to Mount Wildlands today. That's a full-on mine. First one like that I've seen, except for that vertical shaft I found. Whoa. Well, there's a lot of tailings off of that too. Can you see that? That might be a deep one. See all the tailings? There's the piles of dirt below it. I think that's still, is that, can you guys tell? Is that blurry? Might be blurry. Time for a new camera. So here we are. We're going to go check this out over here. Maybe we can find the mining claim information at that post. Then we'll go down there. There's another mining claim post right there. There's probably more in the area. And then after we do that, we'll go work our way up through there, there's a pretty rugged canyon up there. I've never been up there, but I know my way, I think. Although, by now you guys should be doubting my ability to find my way around. Clearly, I don't know my way around very well. Getting quite messed up, but I know where I am. Let's check this thing out, and then we'll talk about number 6. So what the miners would do is, if they found a likely piece of geology for a mining claim, they would erect a rock pile or something like this, a monument of some sort, to indicate that was the case. And then they would nail onto it, usually a little metal can like that one we saw before. I bet there's one laying around here somewhere. They'd nail it onto it, and they would put their mining claim in it, and that would say, "This here be my land." Oh, and here, you can see where the nails are. So the can is long since fallen off. It's around here somewhere. This thing is bent over. Imagine how hard that would be to dig that hole. See, this is a good illustration of the principle of the atomic principle, right? You know, we all, as sturdy as this was, the metal and the wood and dug in, it's all slowly degrading away to sand. Okay, let's stop. Survey around. I see a rock cairn over there, too. That may have been the original spot. The wind may have blown the can away. Usually the wind blows this away, so we probably have more luck finding it over there. But we'll just check here real quick. The atomic principle says that that's so too you and I. What's happening to this post? That's a good photo right there. What's happening to that post right now, in terms of being weathered and falling over, that's going to happen to you and me too. Yeah, of course, we all know that, but it's a reminder of that fact, the atomic principle. So don't forget that. There was something here at one time, looks like. That's probably a campsite right over there. This would make a good campsite. So is it good to remind myself every day that I'm animated sand? Why not? Who'd want to forget that? That's going to help us. So somebody definitely put this rock here. That's definitely going to help us to remember to make good use of the time that we've got, don't you think? There's another rock cairn over there. So yeah, the atomic principle is good and sound. Sound in terms of its premise and its conclusion are grounded in reality. The premise being that everything changes, basically. That's the premise. And to that end, we change in such a way that we are no more after a while. This is an interesting bit of geology again. Let's go over here and then we'll try to find that can. Then we'll let's make our way over to that mine. The premise is sound. Everything changes. The conclusion is that so too you and I, we are changing too. That change for us leads to death and dissolution. Whether we're cremated or not constipated, but whoops, what is the word? Embalmed and buried, we're going to be sand eventually. So yeah, that's a good principle. I'm going to keep it. Ooh, that's a good shot right there. So many great shots. If I get a shot with that with a mine in the back. So next one. Wow. Oh, why am I doing that? Okay. The next, after the development and maintenance of good and sound life principles, is the cultivation of good emotional reactions. Need I say more about that? Isn't that almost self-evident? Who wants to not cultivate good emotional reactions? Like, you can see the edge of an old bulldozer road right there. The miners would take bulldozers up here and they would scrape away the ground, making these little kind of impromptu roads. The reason I've never explored this area too much is that every time I've been here, I've been in a hurry. It's been too hot. Today is just spectacular. I may go no further than this area, exploring the Deepwater wilderness. This is, I'm in the inner edge of Deepwater wilderness, going up to that mine. So, don't worry, I ain't going in it. I've got my emergency beacon. This thing, this spot, see I can turn it on. And I can use it if I have an emergency. There's this SOS. You just pop this thing right there. See, and there's a red button in there. If I push that red button, see, this green light tells me that it's seeing the satellites right now. If I push that button, it's going to send up a signal to a satellite, my GPSS coordinates, and an SOS. And help will be sent. But this will not work if it can't see a satellite. And if I'm inside a cave, it won't see a satellite. And though I would probably enjoy going inside a cave if I were a single man, if I were a single. All day long I'd I wouldn't have to lift the toilet, put the seat down. All day long I'd stand and I would piss and I wouldn't put the seat down. Yes, if I were a single man. All day long I'd eat burritos and I wouldn't care if anybody knew, 'cause I would fart in my house, and it would stink, but nobody would know, because I was living all alone. But the best thing of all, Rectavia, would be going to the sports bar with my buddies, Rectavia, and all my friends and associates would gather around and ask me about the latest sports stats. If in all your wisdom and glory and this great plan, could it be so bad if you made me a single man? How did I get off on that? A little fiddler in the wild. We're getting closer. That was fun. There's the mine we're headed to. That's a deep mine, because there's a lot of tailings coming out of that thing. And here's another mining claim. Can we find the tin? Wow, how the heck did I get on that? Good emotional reactions. How did that lead into a song? I don't see a can anywhere either. Look how flat that is. Oh, here's the bulldozer road. Good emotional reactions. Just... I must have had something that teed me off for fiddling on the roof. Just reacting well to the unexpected, the undesired. I mean, it's easy to react well when things go our way. Here's the outline of the bulldozer road right there. It's easy to react well when things go our way, but it's really hard to do when things don't go our way. That's what I'm after. Maybe I should change it to good emotional reactions when things don't go our way. What the heck is that? It's a crystal. That almost looks like another mine there, but I don't think so. Okay, off we go. That's a big old mine. I wonder if we'll find other artifacts of the mine around. Number Good emotional reactions. Next is, wait, I want to make sure I don't miss anything. I always miss something. Okay, it's easier just to take a moment to capture my recollect. So one is the being always ready to die. 2 is good and effective use of time. There's the road. 3 is the cultivation of good emotional cultivation of good emotional reactions. 4, the performance of good actions. And 5, just doing good things, right? Enough said. 5 is the recognition. I'm screwing this up. For a guy that does this every day, you'd think I'd have this down. It's all this singing. Always ready to die. Good and effective use of time. Development and maintenance of good and sound life principles. Cultivation of good emotional reactions. Performance of good actions. And number 6, recognition of true limits and true opportunity. Okay, so this mind, let's use this mind as an example. This is an opportunity for an adventure. I can make a butt-kicking video out of this. Probably a video that would get lots of views if I go in there and actually explore around, because it's deep. There's lots of tailings out of there. That's the opportunity. And I recognize that as an opportunity. That also would make an interesting video. The limit, though, is that what's more important to me is that I have reasonable adventures. I can see what looks like a little trail that goes up there, more holes up there. Let's go up there. And there's a road right here, and here's another pile of tailings. It's more important to me. Wow, this is an awesome road. Look at that. It's more important to me than adventure and making a little revenue on YouTube is that I'm aware of and mindful of my responsibilities. Wow, looks like there's a face looking out of that hole. Right there. Doesn't look like there's a little face in there on the left. And my responsibilities, my chosen, accepted. Not always easy, but this is the life that I made for myself. And I literally chose. I came to a place like this and sat on a mountain like that when I was 24 years old and chose the course that I'm on. And I'm very glad that I did. And I have a lot of responsibilities. And those responsibilities I take very seriously. And you might not think so. You're thinking, well, what the hell are you doing out there walking around the desert all by yourself? Responsibly, okay? Doesn't mean always perfectly so, but pretty close to it. So the opportunity is to go in that mind. The limit is that I will not do so. Because it's more important to me that I fulfill my responsibilities, that I be here, I be around to take care of my family, and to be my wife's companion and my daughter's father. More important than adventure. Look at this green. Some copper in here. Maybe that's what they were after. Oh, here's a mine shaft here too. Look at that. It didn't go very far though. That looks like something out of Gandalf. You know. Wow, look at that. With a tumbleweed. Mine shaft with tumbleweed. Ooh, that's a good photo. Another one. You can see where they have the dynamite hole right there. I guess I didn't find anything in here. That's funny, it almost looks cut, but I don't think so. So, the recognition of true limits and true opportunities, so that I can pursue the opportunity, but only within the limits of reason, and responsibility. So again, I've kind of several holes here that they tried. They have to go to one hand, so it'll be a little jiggly. Okay, what's next? That's it for the objectives. Next are the principles. There are 20 of them. The first is the principle of war. Wake each morning, ready to go to war with everything that I hold dear. Whoa, it's a little tricky here. Oh, look at that. The road is very clear right there. Going to war with everything that I hold dear. Because I don't want to believe things that aren't true. Especially things that I believe being that I accept are true. And you know what? I'm also going to war with everything you tell me is true. Because not because I don't like you, but because I'm skeptic. And it's good to be skeptical. Whew. A little tired. Next is reason, number 2. If war, as I always say, if war is my object, reason is my instrument. The mechanism by which I determine if something is true. This is so slippery here. I really don't want to slip and fall. You can hear the train. This would not be a good place. I haven't even done any morning stretching. I just got out of my tent and started walking. Reason and the sub-principles: honesty and objectivity. I have to be honest about what I'm observing and objective. Now I'm going to shut up for a second. We're going to approach that mine. That's it. So I've gotten through 2 there. The war and reason. When we get back, let's start with number 3. Let's go take a look at this mine. Remember, I'm not going in, no matter how much you ask. Changed my mind. I'm going in. It's hot in here. We're on solid footing. Gotta make sure there's no snakes. Turn my light on. Get my headlamp. Oh, jeez, what the hell is that? What the hell? I guess I should look up. See what's over my head. What the hell? Slime. Gooey, gooey. That guano, maybe? I don't know. Some animal definitely had its home in here. Oh, more here. Look at that. What the hell? Goo. What is in there, I wonder? I'm afraid to look. It's gonna come flying out at me, but I'm gone this far. What the hell? It stinks. Look at that. Gross. What is it? I don't see anything. Here, let's take that. Crack that goes up. It's gonna drip on me. That'll be a good photo. Hold on. It won't drip on me. Yeah. There we go. Probably see the train. There it is. That train has stopped. There's another train that's moving. We're not far. That's Ash Hill right over there. Okay, that was interesting, huh? Let me stop a second. I gotta change my clothes a little bit. We'll talk as we stop. Hope that doesn't fall. Getting hot. I'm gonna take my pants off. Don't worry, I have shorts on underneath. This, putting right here, don't forget it. Can you guys help me to remember not to forget it? All right, thank you. Take the hat off. Number 3 is the homunculus. Imagine a little guy inside your head. Better hair than me. If I were a single guy. My shoes off too. The homunculus is the imaginary little man that lives inside my head. I made him up because he's my substitute. In my cosmology, the homunculus is my substitute for a soul. It's not in my glossary yet. I made a glossary for my book. It's on online version right now, and if you haven't received it, if I promised to send you a copy and you haven't received it, I'm sorry. I'm going to add, you're going to get a copy. If you haven't got it yet, you're going to get a copy with the glossary and a new section about the writing bridge. So hopefully it'll be worth the wait. Ow, ow, ow. Barefoot. I have to take my pants off. So the homunculus imagine a little man living inside your head. You know, if you could pry open your skull, you'd see him in there. And the thing is that he can't live outside of you. He is you. You feel it kind of inside your head, right? You feel like there's a little guy looking out from behind your ears. I mean, behind your eyeballs, just up ahead in your forehead. That's the homunculus. And I use that as a reminder that, another word for it could be your consciousness or your sense of self. And I use that as a reminder that what I am is perishable. That there doesn't appear that there'll be anything that will survive my death. When I die, the homunculus, he's trapped in there, he's going to die with me. When my consciousness winks out. And that's basically all there is to it. There's one more piece to the homunculus, and that is related to what I call the home of good and evil, which is the next principle, which I conveniently place right next to it. That's number 4. You're looking up at the sky right now. Do you see good or evil written up there? I don't. I see some jet contrails, but that's about it. I got my shoes back on. That's about it. I don't see any good and evil. If that's the case, it ain't out there. Good and evil appear to be within us. It is, and I know some people don't like this thought, but it's subjective. But it's subjective to the point that it's my opinion, but it's objective whenever 2 people agree. So if I tell you that I don't think it's a good thing to deprive me of oxygen, and if you agree with that, well, guess what? We have an objective value between us, which is that depriving human beings of oxygen is not a good thing. We just have an objective definition of good, or maybe of evil, right? It'd be evil to deprive someone of oxygen. Yeah, and that lives with the homunculus. The homunculus is the consciousness. The homunculus is responsible for that. Putting this back in my pocket, right side pocket. Always know where it is. You get a selfie with the mind, and then we'll carry on. Mind selfie. I gotta get the hat. Since I bought that helmet here. Not good at posing. Ooh, there's a good shot of the road too. Okay, let's go. Let's carry on. So there you go. That's the homunculus. The homunculus and home of good and evil. That takes us to number 4. Number 5 then is purpose. What's your purpose? My purpose is to be a virtuous man. Where virtue, as I always like to say, is defined as the improvement of well-being. Whatever that is. Yeah, it's that subjective, objective thing, right? Subjective to the point that I have an opinion about it, but I'm mine. I have an opinion about what constitutes well-being, and you do too. It's subjective when we agree. Okay, I gotta hold one hand because I have one hand free to catch myself if I fall. Okay, here we go. Careful. Be careful. Be careful, Kurt. Look at that. Look at the lines, concentric rings in there. Isn't that interesting? I don't know why. Ooh. That's a lot of tailings to come out of just a little mine, I guess. Thought it'd be a lot bigger than that. So I chose that purpose because it's kind of a comprehensive thing. Whatever I decide is improving well-being, that I decide is, I label that as virtue. And I want to live a virtuous life. I want to be a virtuous man in the pursuit of well-being. For who? Anything and anyone that can enjoy well-being. So definitely for you and me. Also for, dogs and cats and others. And of course for animals, life in general, basically. It's getting kind of hippie, huh? Kind of touchy-feely, but that's okay. This is kind of slippery right here. I don't like this. Careful, Kurt. This is rhyolite, by the way. Type of a volcanic rock. Look at how it's kind of a book piece. The pages in a book. Metaphor. I think I covered enough about purpose, right? So now number 6, the atomic principle. We already covered that, right? I think I've said enough about the atomic principle, don't you think? That's cool, isn't that? Look at that mind. Wow. Next, we're almost out of the woods here. Next is the 7, after the atomic principle, because I covered it, but as long as we're on it again, and here's an opportunity. Dust in the wind. You and I are dust in the wind. And the homunculus will blow away, because we don't have a soul. We're no different than the soulless beasts. Oh, did I tell you? I ran across 2 soulless beasts while I was hiking through the night to get here. Look at that. Look at that road. Wow. You actually see the train out there too. Ooh. Wow. That's cool. Here you can see where the bulldozer came up and did its end right there. Let's get a shot of that. Oh, here comes the wind. Joy, my enemy. I think I'll be okay. Because the reason it feels cold is I stripped down a lot of my clothes. Let's get out of here. Let's head deeper. So number 7, after the atomic principle, number 7 is the principle. Oh, there's a cairn. Let's go check it out. The principle of nature. Everything. It's not like nature, like birds and trees and bugs and stuff like that. Fish. It's nature, as in the nature of things. Everything has a particular nature. It's something about itself, including you and I. It's the nature of a desert to be dry and hot and cold, and depending on the season. Look at this, is a pretty stable, steady cairn. Now this one might have the metal tin buried somewhere in the rocks there. In which case, if it is, it might be pretty well preserved. I might be able to find the mining claim itself. Usually it's in there somewhere. Not too far. It can't be so far that you'd have to dismantle the cairn to find it. see it. That's pretty precariously perched. Nope, I don't see any metal tin. But this is definitely a mining claim. See, the nature of this pile of rocks is to stand as long as wind and other earthquakes and other geological forces or animals, you and me, or something might bump into it, might cause it to fall down. It's the nature of it for rock cairns to weather through time. Okay, now these high clouds there, that means it's going to cool the day a little bit. That's good. It's going to cut into the heat, but it's also going to, maybe make it a little harder to start the bike later. It's a bittersweet thing, but I think it's a good combination today. Next is, you and me have natures too. It's my nature, which I developed and discovered long ago, to desire to come to places like this alone. Pretty frequently. I come every 2 weeks to toss myself deeply and have an adventure, because it does good stuff and it yields good stuff. It's my nature. What's your nature? Have you ever asked yourself that? Look at it. She's going really deep in this volcanic ash. What's your nature? What are you about? Not sure? Might be good to figure it out. Whatever you do, so you will become, so you will be. And if you choose to do nothing, well, need I finish the sentence? Okay, we're gonna go up here, continue on up. I think we're gonna get down into a little wash up here again, hopefully. It's also the nature of living things to stop being living things. Back to some earlier objectives, right? Let's make our way down here into this wash. Next is the principle of maturity. Hopefully I got that right. Atomic, nature, maturity, yeah. Maturity consists of two sub-principles: wisdom and fortitude. Wisdom is that accumulated understanding that we have gained of successes and, more importantly, failures. There's somebody's poop. That inform us about best practices. Yeah, that wasn't such a good idea last time. Maybe I won't do that again. Or vice versa. Maybe it was a good idea. Whatever the case, that's wisdom. And you acquire that through trial and error. But guess what? You can share that through teaching. And especially if you can prescribe it, like in a military setting where the young soldiers don't have a choice but to listen to the orders of the generals, who, we assume they know more. They've gone to their military college. They've learned all their things. They have their experience. They come up with best strategies and the like, right? That's the idea, at least, and it seems to work. So fortitude can be, wisdom can be transferred and communicated through fortitude. Drilling into soldiers' discipline to follow the words of leadership gives them, I bet this is really squishy. Yeah, look at that. Wow, whole pile of volcanic ash. I wonder if there's any footprints in here from the past. Sounds like the train's right there, doesn't it? But it's not really as close as it sounds. It's that the sound is echoing and reverberating up this canyon. I gotta watch out. There are vertical mine shafts out here. I don't want to fall into one. I mean, like vertical. Like down you go. Got my shoe all dirty. So that's wisdom and fortitude. And it's if you can acquire a little of both, you've got a good thing. And it may serve you well through the course of your life. It may help you to live a better life. but you need the fortitude, right? Because if you have the wisdom, but you don't have the will or force of character to see it through, then it's for naught, right? You may know, it wasn't such a good idea to withdraw $2,000 before I go to Vegas. Maybe I should just do $100 this time. Almost fell. Got caught up on that thing. Maybe that would be better. See what I mean about twisting? Here's a dry waterfall. Maybe it'd be better to do that, but you'd pull out $3,000 instead. So even though you've got the wisdom, you know better. Okay, don't fall. But you don't follow it. So what's the use? But if you can follow a really able person who follow the wisdom of others. Maybe you hear about your friend who told his story about losing his shirt at Vegas, and you tell yourself, well, you know, I haven't lost anything at Vegas, but maybe instead of pulling out $200, maybe I'll just pull out $150, you know, and then I'll call it quits at that. And maybe I'll spend $50 of that on a show, you know, take my gal to the show. How many of us are like that? Some, not me. I tend to not have much fortitude. This is one of those virtues, one of those principles that I aspire to, yet have a hard time achieving. More soft ash. Look at the bits of white stuff here in the ash too. Not sure just what that is. More ash. Very soft. And here's a volcanic cinder bomb, you know, thrown through the air. Land with a loud thud. These holes came because it cooled as it was flying through the air, and cooled rapidly, causing those holes. Imagine getting hit, clobbered with one of those. There's another cairn right over there. See that? That kind of looks like the Watcher, the miner actually. Ooh, that might make a good photo. I might smuggle that in as a photo of the miner. See another post up here. Okay, next. Now so we did atomic principle, nature, another cairn up there, and a post. Nature, maturity, social. Atomic principle, nature, maturity, social is number 9. The social principle. After we get over this hill over here, we should probably no longer hear the trains. The social principle basically suggests that we're social animals. Yeah, we're animals. What else? What are the other options? Mineral or vegetable? Take a pick. Yeah, sure, you can call us special if you want. Where's the metal nails? I don't see any nails. The nails are even gone. Maybe you never had them. I don't even see the holes. Social principle. We're social animals. We need one another to survive. Though I sometimes dream of living in a place like this. I actually know there's a plot of land out here that's actually for sale, out here in the middle of nowhere. I kind of dream of that. I know that would be a disaster. I know that my nature is such that there's another kind of like a road thing. My nature is such, it looks like they kind of plowed it up like this and around like that. See how that kind of S-shaped pattern? I wonder what these miners had in mind. My nature is such that I would be ruined by such a plan. Let's go up to that cairn right there. That would ruin me. I would drift off into irrelevant, not oblivion. It would appear to be oblivion to others. It would probably be something of a bliss to me, and wouldn't that be something? But I know I'm social enough that I would want to come back and tell others what I found, but it wouldn't mean anything. The only reason that I'm able to have any interest generated in my videos now is because I am a consummate family man first. Father, wife, husband. That's another part of my life. No, husband, father, worker, taxpayer, citizen, conscientious as much as I can, and all these things. And that connects me to you guys. I'm like you, and I happen to do this. So when I come out and do this, I come back and I have something to say. I can share it. has some relation. If I didn't have that stuff, this would be just blah, you know, if I were a single man. And it would be just that. And it would be entertaining maybe pitifully entertaining ramblings of a madman. No care, no metal tin here either. These are all mining claims. Nope. I think you get the idea, right? It's good to be social. It's good to be a man or woman of others. Oh, that's where I was trying to head today. But I think I'll consider it lucky if I make it to the cold gate, which is, I think it's up there. First, El Campo number 1, which is over here. We'll try to get there first. That's the end of the pole. That's the social principle. I am a social man. And the better part of my life and my existence is a result of that. Does that mean if I had to choose between the two, which I would choose? Oh, well, I definitely would choose the social one because I've already made that commitment. That's an easy one. If I was back in 24 and back on that mountaintop when I made that decision, I was just picturing my life along both directions. Both look pretty good from this vantage. Especially the path not taken always has that look to it, right? I would have done well. I would have done, not well, but I would have done okay. It would have been okay either way. But how do I say this? I'm struggling to find a way to get the words out without anyone that's single that did not choose the social path necessarily. And single, you know, or not choose family stuff. I don't want to make it sound like you made the wrong choice. That's why I'm struggling to find the right words. I don't know the other path, but there's some depth in the family path that I don't know that I would have found otherwise. Let's go up here, or maybe around here. Let's go up here. That's all I'm trying to say. And because I didn't try the other path, I don't know. But you have, or you're on that path. And I have a feeling that you will as well, and that is going to be increasingly an option that more people are going to choose over time. I kind of twisted myself there. Ow. So, yeah, I think if we're wired for family, maybe that wiring will change in a way. I think enough said about the social principle. Let's get on. Number 10 is the Feast of Offal. Offal, of course, is the waste and byproduct of butchery, right? You're cutting up an animal, the butcher is, and have all the leftover gross parts, and they throw them away or they make them into sausage, right? Well, that struck me one day when I was thinking about we have kind of an offal too. Insofar as our unprincipled and undisciplined living, we give out the waste and byproduct of our frustration and our anger and our upset, and we toss that out, you know, getting angry on the road, flipping somebody off, letting loose our temper on our family or our siblings, or being snarky at work or whatever the case may be. All these ways that we have these little escape valves that we're not exercising good emotional reactions. Oh, we're not far from El Campo. Where Campo number 1 is right over there. Very good, very good. We're right at Campo. Lucky me. This turned out all right. It's just right there. Good. We'll go there, we'll drop off some water, and then we'll drop off some goodies, and with some of this extra weight, and then we're going to make our way to the cold gate, I mean. Ooh, I let it slip. Where I got that name from. So, with the Feast of Hopeful, I'm trying to remind myself to not do that. To not, one, give that out myself, but instead to hold it in and dissipate it out gradually, like steam, gradually being vented. And more importantly, to use that fact to assess whence comes this emotion. Why am I feeling this way? Why am I behaving this way? All that kind of stuff, right? And then if I can recognize it, maybe I can do something about it to be informed, to be more mature, to use wisdom and fortitude, the wisdom of understanding and the fortitude of self-discipline, to not behave like that again. It works. It works. It works really, really well. I'll tell you. I've been doing it for several years now. You can, with occasional slips, you can get really good at this. The resulting in appearance, and it isn't just an appearance, it is a fact of, the right word is equanimity. Kind of a balanced, disciplined, self-controlled and self-contained, almost, ability to move through life. Like instead of stumbling through a wilderness like I was just doing, coming through there, I'm going to walk like this. Instead of that, I'm going to walk like this instead. Each step more careful and deliberate. Picking the spots, avoiding the rocks, choosing the soft spots whenever possible, moving slowly, more deliberately, taking in the sights, using my ears, using my eyes. This is the tricky part here. Instead of plowing right through, that would be a tricky spot right there. That would be a plow right through. How about right there? It might be a little bit slippery, but I think I can do it carefully. And if I do slip, I recognize that that is a reasonable expectation. See these branches? Instead of plowing through and breaking them, I'm going to swing my way through, and I'll hit it anyway. Ooh, here's a really tricky spot. Here, look at that. How am I going to get through here? Using my principles and objectives. Well, my objective is to make it through here without damaging these plants. Some of them look like they're not alive, but they are. And without damaging myself. Maintaining my balance and equanimity. Well, begin by pulling this branch aside, stepping through under that boulder, in here, letting the branch go back, moving carefully, modulating my breath as I go. Step here, step over here, checking for snakes. I could have done a better job checking for snakes. Note to self, take more care to check for snakes. There's the wisdom. The fortitude is what I remember. There's another place where you could have a snake. There could be a snake in this bush right there. That's going to be tricky to get around here. This is a tricky one. I could go over here. I can see through the foliage there. There's certainly no snakes there. How about that? Step here. I may not be able to get around stepping on some branches. Maybe if I step on this rock first, then I can jump across, land there, avoid the snakes, avoid the plants. I might slip and fall, but I'm willing to take that chance. Let's do that. Here we go. With this heavy pack, it's no small thing. I'm pleased with that result. If I were a balanced man. All day long I would walk carefully, stepping in the soft sand. I wouldn't go plowing through brush. Instead, I'll hold, ooh, it's crinkly. I can't move it very much, so I'll move it just a little and then slide sideways through. Wow, it looks like I found a mining claim. don't get too excited by the find. Keep it in your peaceful mind. Point the camera at the face now, not the shirt. Be more mindful of that as well too. What? I see there's something on the lens. How did that get in there too? Who cares? I can't take care of that now. So step over gently. I think I see a challenging little spot. Right there, does it look narrow? Would it be such a terrible thing in the great scheme of everything if you were to make me a balanced, mature, reasonable, thoughtful, considerate, and cognizant of each fleeting moment passing man. Yada-da-da-da-da, yada-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So now we'll carry on in this way. So too, my life, the feast of Opal. Look for snakes, wisdom and fortitude. So too, the feast of Opal. What rises in my breast is fuel and tinder for cognition and thought about the best way to achieve my objectives in life. We're almost there. Number 11 is temperance. There are 3 sub-principles to temperance: suffering, simplicity, and apathy. Suffering because it's hard when we deny ourselves what we want. Because temperance is the controlled consumption of all things. Food and drink and play and sex and work even. All these things. Simplicity, because a simple life is a temperate life. And apathy, because the recognition of what we cannot control and being almost indifferent to that fact is a mark of wisdom. Why fly off the handle and get upset when things that we can't control happen? The rain, the sun, illness, which we can control to a relative degree. But if it's beyond our control, or even death. Apathy sounds like it's a vice, that almost like it's a bad characteristic, but actually it's a virtue, if defined in a reasonable way. Next is agency and the great indifference. You and I are agents. All living things are agents. The great indifference is what's left when you subtract out the rest. There is Campo number 1. Right there. Agency and the great indifference. There's also the artifacts of agency. These are the things that are left behind as a result of agents' work. That little structure there is an artifact of the agency of the miners that once attempted to find their fortune in this land. So too, this brush, and especially The dead brush, that's an artifact of an agent. Anything that's alive is an agent. That's why I come to a desert to see the great indifference. Because great indifference is what's left when you subtract out all the agents and their artifacts. Whatever's left over, that is the great indifference. You can't see it in many places. You certainly can't see it in the city unless you really work at it. You can see it sometimes in loneliness and in the face of those who have lost their way, with others have lost track of the social principle. There's Black Mountain. Out here, the great indifference is manifest. It's everywhere. Look at that rock embedded in the ash, slowly making its way out as the flash floods come through. There's a hole right there. Look at that. I wonder who lives there. Tortoise, maybe? Desert fox? Agency and the great indifference. If you ever want to see it, come here. In my book, there's a chapter, The Anxiety Hike. You can see it out here if you come. But only if you come alone. It's not there otherwise. There's another mining claim out there. I've been up there. Agency and the great indifference. There's a pole right there. Next is the best seat in the house. To not want to be anyone else, or be anywhere else, or be doing anything else, but to be just okay with who I am, where I am, and what I'm doing. This is the best seat in the house. Footsteps doesn't mean that you give up on better living. Doesn't mean that you give up on improving. It just means that you're okay with whatever the circumstance. All the while striving for better. That's a trick. It's the best seat in the house. Next is the path of wildness. This is the path of wildness. I've been walking on the path of wildness this entire video. It's just that kind of a sense of left and right and up and down, guided by instinct and wisdom and fortitude, moving along through time and space. That's the path of wildness. It's also a way to get unstuck. There are times that we become stuck in life. We don't know where to go. That may be happening to some of you. Maybe you that's watching this right now. Maybe you're sitting behind your computer looking at this and thinking to yourself, I can do that. Why am I not doing this kind of stuff? I mean, if you made it over an hour into this video, clearly you're interested in this kind of stuff, not just interested in hearing me talk. What's stopping you from doing that? What's stopping you from coming here? Literally, from anywhere in the world. This glass right here has water in it, or some sort of fluid. I wonder if it's still got it in there. Let's see. If I move it, let's see what happens. There it is, see? Gosh only knows how long it's been in there. This is Campo number 1. Remains of an old mining camp. I've shown you this place before. You've been here. The path of wildness led me here. It's an amazing place. Maybe I've left enough clues for you to find it on your own. Campo number 1. Maybe you could come here. Campo number 1. I also use this place as a, what's the right word? Metaphor? A placeholder for what I call woodsman's cabin, which is on the near side of Mount Wildness. Here was a chair. Here was a desk. And over here is like a stove of sorts. Gosh, I don't know what they did. 1978, 1979, don't know what that means. Here's a nice bit of hematite. Another nice bit there. So they cooked something in there. There's a little chimney right there. So are you stuck? What's it gonna take to get unstuck? What do you need to do? Oh, but I couldn't possibly do that. I haven't got the money. Or I've got too many responsibilities. Or there's school. Or my mom wouldn't want that. My girlfriend would think I was crazy. Just remember those things in the old age home. I'll leave you with that. Okay. Let's carry on. Just a brief stop at Campo number 1. Oh, I need to drop off some stuff here. That's right. So here, let's put this right over here while I unload some stuff. See how there's cairns? 1, 2, 3 along the perimeter. This is an island in the stream, actually. Big flash floods could come through here. But I think this island is pretty well protected. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put this over here, way over here. There's one of those tins, right? See? Where the mining claim would go inside. If this video goes long enough, I'll show you one. With an actual mining claim in it that I came out to get. I'm going to take it back to the museum because it's kind of an interesting one. I'm going to leave you here for just a second, okay? Don't go anywhere. Don't fall over. Oh, that's good. Okay. I'll talk loud. Well, I won't talk loud. Just wait a second, please. Thanks for waiting. Dropped off a few things. Container of water and my pants. Right over here. Show you. Oh, did I show you guys before that whoever was here left firewood too? This place never changes. Every time I come here, it's the same. I left a few things in there. There's even firewood over here. Okay. Next, we're going to cross across to, here's the firewood. Let's cross across to the rhyolite dome. There's this rhyolite dike right there. Wow, that's a great shot of Mount Wildness. Or the watcher. I've never checked to see if there's any metal containers in here. I wonder. Just a quick cursory look. Nope. Okay, there's this rhyolite dike right there, right in the middle of the river. I'm sure it gets lots of flash floods through it. Sometimes I use that to hide from the sun if it's a hot day. There's a little bit of shade over there. But over here, there's a secret hidden in the rhyolite over here. Actually, I talk about this in the book too. I mentioned that there's a secret in here, and gosh darn it, I was gonna make something to put in its place for you guys, for anybody that might come out here that finds it, because I'm going to take it now, because there's a bit of a historic artifact in there, and I want the museum to have it before it goes away, because the guy that, well, I'll tell you when I get there. Here's the wash. This is where the main flash flood channel comes through. And if you look carefully, you'll see there are no vehicle tracks. Unlike washes elsewhere, nobody comes up here. We are really alone. The vehicle tracks out here last a long time, as witnessed by the bulldozer marks earlier. Although those are rock outlines, they'll last nearly forever. Those are the Black Mountains of Indifference over there. Path of Wildness. I think we covered that enough. Next is, ooh, what is that? It's a gourd. See in here along the flash flood washes. Next is, make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, temperance. Number 11. 12 is agency in the great indifference. 13 is the best seat in the house. 14, the path of wildness. 15 is the risk of avoiding risk. This is real simple. It is the risk of not living life of your dreams. And that is by virtue of the fact of pursuing only and exclusively the surface level risks of life, which are simply put as education, relationship, and money. All basically security in a way. And my point is that if you go after those things, which make a lot of sense and which our parents tend to tell us to do, recommend to us at a young age, you'll end up with a pretty good life. You know, be well educated, maybe get a spouse and a family, and maybe get yourself a good career. To ask yourself, is that enough? If it is, then good. Just carry on. If it isn't, if you're one of those, then what is enough? That's the deeper level risk. Oh, look at the insects. Do you see them in the sun? And that rock cairn right there, where the thrower headed. I wonder if there's flowers here or something. Wow, there are. Looks like there's even a smell to it. Wow, what a fragrance. I wish you could smell that. Wow. It really is. November bloom. This must be where the these little bits, I see the ants carrying that around sometimes. See all the little insects flying? They're taking after those, looking after those those surface level risks. I don't think they have any deep level risks, but you and I do, because Because we're special. Well, because we have the quality and character of our minds and give us an opportunity to want more. This is the cairn. So let me just finish that up. So I recommend that if you are one of those that might want more out of life, then you better, by gosh, pursue that. You're probably going to regret it if you don't. Because we live long enough to have multiple lives. And trust me, it gets hard to pursue these things at a later date. You know, this little plant around here decided not to put up this flower right now. What are you doing putting out a flower in November? Ain't gonna have a chance later. Another week or two, it's gonna be too cold and it's gonna be dead. So too, you and me. So let's see what's in here. That's enough of that one. That was number 15. So you have 5 more to go after this. Okay, this is the rock cairn that I'm trying to remember his name. Oh, something. Can't remember. There's an author. He was a miner, quite a character. Lived all around in California, basically like a 49er back in the end of the 19th century. And he wrote a book about his exploits as a miner. He wound up running a little general store up in, I'll see his name as soon as you open it, the general store out in, up in the gold country in the Sierras. But he made his way out here and managed to claim this piece of rhyolite right here as his own. And he left this cairn, and it's got a tin in it. There it is. Should be there just the way I left it last time I was here. There it is. This is an old cigarette can tin. And it's got his mining claim in there. And I'm going to take this back to the museum, the Mojave River Museum, because no one's ever going to find it out here, and it's just going to disappear into nothing. And they don't have anything like that. Let's pull it out. And I'm not even going to really open it so much. I'm going to just open it a little bit so you can kind of see. But we're not going to mess with it too much because it's like a historic document. And I've done it before. I've got another video where I cover it in more detail. Why don't I take my backpack off, dummy? After that, we're going to head up there. I don't imagine this video's got too much more time on it. Another 5 principles. Oh my God, it's going to fall. Stay. You know what would be better to do it over here with the rock cairn behind it. There we go. So I'm going to leave something here because I talk about this place in the book. And I say come here for a secret. I think it's mentioned in the notes or something like that. And here it is. I think it's a Bull, no, it's not a Bull Durham, it's Chesterfield. It's a Chesterfield cigarette tin. It'll say so when we open it up, you'll see. You can kind of get a good view of it. And for some reason, this was a good choice. It weathered. It lasted. Excuse me. Let's open this up. Imagine my surprise when I opened it up. There it is. The document's just the way I left them. Chesterfield cigarettes. No stems, no seeds that you don't need. Acapulco Gold, it's... No. Anybody know that reference? Chesterfield cigarettes are a balanced blend of the finest aromatic Turkish tobacco and the choicest of several American varieties, blended in the correct proportion to bring out the finer qualities of each tobacco. Leggett & Myers Tobacco Company. I swear to goodness, I'm not going to open this up too much. I don't want to have it fall apart on me. Yeah, trust me, this is interesting. I've got another video where I open it up and you can see it, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to give it to them as it is. It took a lot of work for me last night to get it back in. It was freezing cold. It was like a January day and the wind was blowing and I was worried. And I'm just going to give this to the museum as is. Almost remember his name, but I can't. So let me put this in a safe place in the pack. Let's go on. I actually went to the museum and asked them what to do. And they were very clear that they would appreciate having this item if I was willing to bring it back to them. That was more than a year ago. Don't move. Stay. That was more than a year ago. So, yeah, I'll be able to give it to them when I come back out 2 times from now. I'm going to put this in the main pack deep down inside. I'm going to wrap it up in something. I'll wrap it up in my BMW jacket. A little bit of history. So you too, so this should be in the museum. You should be able to come to the museum and see it. Okay, let's go. Wow, what time is it? I don't know. It's 7 o'clock. My original schedule said I should be at Mount Wildness by 8 o'clock. Don't know that I'm going to make it to Mount Wildness. I'm trying to make it to the hot gates. So now from this point forward, we're going in uncharted territory. Where we're going, we don't need roads, Marty. Let's go. Let's finish up our good life meditation. Should be easy walking now. We're just going to walk up this wash. I don't know where the hell I'm going from this point on. This is all path of wildness at this point. I'm just guessing. I know it's somewhere over there. Did I say it was 7:30? I think so. Number 16. Sin and damnation. Number 15 was the risk of avoiding risk. Number 16 is sin and damnation. In my worldview, there are 5 sins. Yeah, I'm a non-believer, but I do believe in sin. Sin would be, well, really, there's 2 types of sin. One would be the deliberate negation of well-being, choosing to do things that cause harm. Putting battery acid in someone's water. That's a sin. Certainly not going to help their well-being. I see a pole right over there. Every time we see a pole, let's stop and check it out. But also there are, in my worldview, 5 explicit sins. Maybe I should call these cardinal sins. Do I dare to use such language? And they are really the same thing in the following order. No particular order. Yeah, there is a particular order. No, the first one is important. It's the biggie. Falsity, credulity, faith, superstition, and dogma. Let's explain. Falsity, the quality of falsehood, of accepting or promoting anything that we know is not true. Credulity, an eagerness and a willingness to believe without due rigor of examination, without being objective and honest. Now here, I don't think this is actually a mining post. Look at that, I see a whole succession of posts. I think this might have marked a road that went across the wash. There's a post here, and see a whole string of them all the way across the desert there? I think they're leading, it's a road of some sort. Maybe marking the way across to Campo number 1. Next is, so falsity, credulity, faith, superstition, and dogma. Faith! Wow, faith is a sin? Isn't that a virtue? Not in my world. Faith is you may have heard, the evidence of things unseen. I think that things unseen are things unseen. I don't think we can consider there to be any evidence of them. Of course, the word seen meaning to have evidence, empirical, something to show that it actually is real. Why would we think so if there's no good reason, if there's no evidence for it at all? That's wishful thinking. That's just taking a shortcut to truth. That's lying to ourselves and saying, yeah, there is something there when there really isn't. And if there is something more to it, if there is something to the supernatural or metaphysics, then I'm afraid I can't go with you there, because we don't have any reliable means to determine what is in fact true amongst all that. How do we determine what is one man or woman's interpretation of the spiritual versus another's if we don't have no way to measure or gauge, and all we can do is just rely on our feelings, our senses, and our wants? So I don't consider faith to be a virtue in any way. I consider it to be a sin, and a very bad one. And you may ask me, you may accuse me, you may say, Kurt, but you rely on faith, you have a faith in science. You haven't performed those experiments yourself. That's different. That's a trust. And it's a distinction between faith and trust. Trust is based on demonstrated reliability. I trust my wife to be faithful to me because for 32 years I have had no reason to think otherwise. That's not faith. That is trust based on demonstrable facts. I trust the findings of peer-reviewed science by virtue of the very mechanism of peer review, wherein the goal of science is to refute and to find otherwise. That's how you become famous. That's how you move forward, is when you can disprove something and show us better what is true. Science is not in the business of demonstrating truth. It is in the main business of demonstrating what is not true, of weeding out the false from the truth. It is in that, for that reason, because I understand the scientific method and I understand the rigors of good science. And of course, it's not perfect, but and especially the mechanisms by which scientific consensus occurs, that I trust the findings of science, which are demonstrated in my everyday life in so many different ways. And in the reality that is the claims that match the reality that I live in. So it's different. Faith in science is really not a good use of that word. That I would have trust in science. And you know what one of the big difference is? If I really wanted to, if I really truly wanted to demonstrate for myself that a particular scientific claim was true, I could do that within reason. I could go get myself a degree, get myself the laboratory equipment, study the protocols of the test, and perform the darn test myself. I'd like to see anyone try to do that with a miracle. Next one after faith is falsity, credulity, faith, superstition. Superstition, well, it's almost a pejorative, right? I mean, we almost use it in a way to throw critical light on things that are not held in high esteem. No, that's just superstition. Well, believing those superstitious things. It's kind of like pornography in a way. Some people enjoy it, but a lot of us like to announce to the world that we do, and if you do, you're kind of looked at kind of askance. That's the world of superstition, which of course is playing around with ideas and propositions that are not well founded or can't stand on their own 2 feet. And finally, faith, falsity, credulity, faith, superstition, and dogma. Dogma is truth that rests on pedigree, time, and authority. So typically these relate to holy books or some sorts of social institutional texts. I wonder if we could say the U.S. Constitution is dogma. Maybe, but it kind of withstands the rigorous examination of the citizen. Maybe it's because we're raised in that. Got to think about that more. But usually we think about dogma as religious dogma. The Ten Commandments and the Code of Hammurabi, the various and sundry prescriptions and laws laid out through the world's religions. And when you ask why, the response is, why are you asking? Just because. So those are my 5 sins. Falsity, credulity, faith, superstition, and dogma. And the consequence of these is damnation. Look at all these tracks right here. Snakes or lizards are moving through here. The big snake right there. Damnation, because we end up living a damned life by virtue of the fact of prescribing to these things and adhering to them, abiding them. And it's a long trek through this wash. Let's change up just a little bit. Almost done. So the next one after sin and damnation is one of my favorites. Complete oblivion. Let's go over here and walk by this rock wall. Complete oblivion. When we die, there's going to be nothing left of us. Our bodies will disintegrate away if left out in a place like this, maybe mummify for a while. If we burn it up, then we're ashes right away. If we can't resist again. If we're buried, then we'll last for a while in that semi-mummified state, but eventually we'll be dust there too. No final reunion. There will be no final reunion, no final reconciliation, and no final justice. No reunion with the ones we left behind, or the ones that went before. No reconciliation with those whom we left on sour terms with. And no final justice from a great lawgiver or justice disher outer. There's no reason to think any of those things are going to be the case. So the main admonition or caution here is to seek after those things during the life that we have, during the time that we have. Seek reunion with those we've lost contact with while we have a chance. Attempt to reconcile with those whom we have differences of opinion or difference of thought or difference of life. And seek justice where possible. Through the appropriate means, of course. And look at that dead plant over there. See? Complete oblivion coming right over there. There's a piece of an old mine. It's like a sign or something. Let's take a look. Now be careful. Snakes through here. There's a wooden plaque there. Now, I've never been here. This is all new stuff. I'm on the path of wildness. See? Look at that. Look at this sign I've said. Do I want to lift it up? Nah, I can't see anything anymore. Let's get a photo of that. That's pretty awesome. Signposts along the way. I'm almost at the point where I have to turn around time-wise. Will I? Will I? I gotta work tomorrow. Complete oblivion. No final reunion, no final reconciliation, no final justice. Complete oblivion. We're almost done. Next comes... Oh, look at that. Isn't that plant right there in the middle? Isn't that mistletoe? Could be animals living in here. I think that is mistletoe of sort. It's kind of a parasitic fungal type of plant. It's all dry, dead, more complete oblivion. This is the animal's den right there. I wonder if there's anything in there. Probably ran out, heard me coming. That's definitely looks like a den down there too. And I see a hole right there. They're probably listening to me right now. Sorry, I'm moving on. Is that a rock cairn? I mean, a pile? Sand pile? The next one is after complete oblivion comes the great life adventure. Giving yourself this kind of stuff. It doesn't have to be hiking necessarily. Whatever that adventure might be. Something to press the envelope to. Hey, there's the living version of that stuff we saw. See, I thought it was mistletoe. There's the dead stuff right there, and there's the living stuff right there. It kind of looks like mistletoe. Same idea, at least. It's a parasitic plant. No. Complete oblivion. No. The Great Life Adventure. I recommend that you, if you're one of these people that says, yeah, what about me? What's the theme? What's the narrative of my life? What story will my life tell? If that story is, education, family, career, retirement, and then death, then so be it. If that's good, that's great. And for a lot of people, that's exactly the case. In fact, I'd say probably most people I know, they're comfortable with that, or I see another sign, or they never wanted anything more, or they're too afraid, or they never understood that they had another option, right? Whatever the case may be. But if you're one of those that says, I kind of want to do something too, well, let's think about what kind of examples that could be. That could be adventure, like this. I use the word adventure to basically mean as a label for all kinds of things that are pushing the envelope, that are allowing you to use the word the hippie used, to become an actualized, self-actualized individual, whatever the hell that means. Find yourself, whatever it is. Live your dream. Maybe that's doing something like this, an adventure like this. Maybe that is simply learning another language. Maybe that's living in a foreign country. Maybe it's going to college. Maybe it's, making friends from another culture, or dating somebody from another culture, or marrying somebody from another culture. This looks very interesting. This is like a real sign over here. What could this possibly be? Whatever that is, maybe it's, well, I won't go there. There's the R-rated version of all that too. There's another rock cairn right here. I think this is a marker simply saying, go here. And then definitely there was a sign here. There is a sign. Don't know if we can read it though. And there's markings of an old road. Look at that. And I see more posts further on. Wow. Let's get a photo of that. So, let's take a quick look. This says 19, does that say 1918? I think it does. 1913? Hold on. I think it does. 1913. 191311. 1913-11. Why would that say November 1913, which is, it's November now. That looks like what it says. And it looks like we got a road that goes off somewhere, something to explore sometime. Not our goal today. So here's my proposal for those that want a life of adventure. I'm assuming you're still young. If you're not so young, then maybe you can find a way to do it still. If you're young, like my daughter's age, 18, almost 18 she is this month, I recommend give yourself the whole darn decade of your 20s. The whole darn thing. From start to finish. Selfish, selfish, selfish. It's all yours. It's mine, 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 mine. That means you got to be careful not to get anybody pregnant. Or yourself. Look at this, the layers here. If you're going to fulfill this, right? So what I recommend to do first, wow, look at the flash flood coming out there. Here's what I recommend. How many times am I going to say recommend? Give yourself that whole decade. First, go to school. I don't recommend taking a break here. Go right to school. Graduate from high school, jump into junior college, because junior college is a great experience. For me, it was better than university. The diversity of people, the diversity of ages, the smaller size of the classrooms, of course, the more affordability, it's the place where people who sometimes realize later, I really do need to get an education, they go and they take it more seriously. Whereas university, I found to be full of people who were young, like my age, didn't come from different perspectives, and for the most part were just following a course that someone gave them. Of course there were the ones that really wanted it, but I felt like I was more in a factory at university, whereas I felt like I was more in a almost like the discussion hall of the Greeks, like the Stoa, the porch where the Greek philosophers would sit. Also the fact that the professors in the junior college aren't under the publish or perish. Look at this line right there. I wonder what that is. Looks like this thing was drug in some way. Into the publish or perish thing, so they can actually focus on the students. I remember in university, I would go to these, in junior college, I would be in these small classrooms with 25 students and a professor that really was engaged with us. And in university, I'd be in a lecture hall with 400 students and a grad student. Never even saw the professor. So anyway, go to junior college for 2 years. Get your associates maybe, and then transfer to a university. And there you're going to focus. Pick something. And if you can, and I recommend communications, speech communications. Served me very well all my life. This is what I'm recommending to my daughter. I think she's going to do it. You won't leave college necessarily ready for anything, but you will be ready for everything. Then, if you can, go on and get an advanced degree. A master's or a PhD if you can. And within reason, I would say try to wrap things up by 25 or 26. Go as far as you can. That should take you to a master's. That's going to open doors later that just having a bachelor's might not do. But although being a good communicator is going to open lots of doors. Then, what's that? Then spend the rest of the time having your adventure. Travel, meet people, excitement. I'm not talking about partying. I recommend indulging in that in limited quantities. I'm talking about adventure. Look at that. Venture of the sort that's really going to make a difference. If you travel, study something, start a small business that will been that dream business that you've always wanted to have, whatever it may be, give it a try and live that dream, or maybe several of them, for a couple 4 years till you reach your 30s. Now it's time to settle down. Now it's time to put aside the toys. Although not too far aside, you'll probably have a chance to enjoy them later in life again. Get out the want ads and look for a real job. Start looking for someone to share your life with. Maybe someone who has shared some of your interest in your diversities and your experiences. I think you're going to find you're a more attractive option at that point as well. And you're going to be a little more mature and maybe better able to pick someone who's a good match. And after a good courtship, give yourself at least 2 years for courtship to get to know them through the good and the bad. Then, put a ring on it. Yeah, I'm an old-fashioned guy. Then, only after you're married, settled into a career, you've got your wild oats sown and reaped, not just the wild oats of the loins, but the wild oats of life. The dream that you wanted to have. Then make a new life or two, and carry on from there. The rest you'll figure out the rest from there. That's what I recommend for the Great Life Adventure. And then at regular intervals throughout your life, if you so desire, give yourself that. Kind of like what I do now. Every 2 weeks I do this. It makes a big difference. I could go on and on about the benefits you'll enjoy, but I think they're self-evident and they are manifest. This wash just goes on and on. Gotta confess to a little anxiety. Never been here. Okay, sorry, I'm not being careful. Okay, last two after the Great Life Adventure is the season of philosophy. Now, if you live that life that I just mentioned, you're going to be a pretty interesting person. Oh, by the way, try to be well-read too. Even if you're not into reading, try to be well-read. Read up on the classics. You'll be glad you did. And if you've got an interest, this will really serve you well. Try to memorize some good stuff at a young age. You'll have it with you for the rest of your life, like little treasures in your mind. Oh, fair Cynthia, all homage that I may, unto a creature, unto thee I pay. In lonesome wood, to meet so kind a guide, to me's more worth than all the world beside. Star Kimball Night, 1740, riding alone through the woods in New England. Imagine a woman doing that. The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. What they call resignation is confirmed desperation. From the desperate city, they go to the desperate country and have to console themselves with the bravery of minks and muskrats. Henry David Thoreau, and chapter Economy, or Where I Lived and What I Lived For in Walden. These little bits that I committed to memory have been treasures to me all my life. I use them, I pull them out. Sometimes I pull them out in the presence of others, usually not, very rarely. Usually it's to demonstrate a point if I do that. Mostly I do it alone, like out in a place like this. Imagine that, having that. So the season of philosophy then is your chance to take the distillation of all that living, all those ideas. Is that the way to the hot gates, the cold gates? I think it's right across there. Here we go. I may be wrong, but we're sitting straight across. This is a long, wide wash. Wow. I'm anxious. The season of philosophy is your chance to record a little bit of what you've found along the way. So my chance at that, excuse me for just a moment, excuse me if I indulge myself just a little bit, excuse me as I spit. This is the result, one result, of my season of philosophy, my book, Going Alone, where I took the ideas that I've been cultivating through my great life adventures and the overall experience of life and putting them into written form. You will be glad you did, because this is your legacy. In addition to whatever genetic legacy you create, or social legacy, or whatever form of legacy, something very satisfying about having your ideas down, or your music, or your whatever your art is, painting, whatever it could be. Do that when the muse strikes. The muse, of course, is just my reference to the creativity. It's not a real thing. When the music, you'll hear it when the muse speaks to you, write down what you say. I think I told you guys that my camera's having trouble. It just died. So it took me a moment to recover the data, and I've kind of lost my train of thought. Went to look at that hill over there. Anyway, that swipe across. There's something over there. Anyway, let me wind this up. See, the season of philosophy is your time to record. If you don't do it, if you don't avail yourself of that opportunity, whatever you hear will be gone. If it comes back, it'll be different. And if you wait too long, you will be so different that there will be, whatever the muse says, will be nothing at all like what you had before. So, and maybe you'll look back and say the musings of your youth were nonsense, but those are chapters. Those are editions. That's worthwhile stuff, even if it's worthwhile in no other way than helping you to develop into the person that you want, that you will become. And then, also, a little bit of a warning. If you wait too long, the muse may be there, may be speaking, but you may be unable, you may want to, but you'll be unable to say anything because you've simply lost the ability, or maybe your body is deteriorated to the point that you can no longer lift your hand or speak clearly, or stay awake long enough to even say things. And maybe you're so in pain with the infirmities of old age, or as Hawthorne would say, and I don't mean this in a critical way, but he means that the imbecility of old age will strike, and you may think, I wish I'd said it, but the chance is gone. So enjoy that season of philosophy. But you know what? Even if you don't, a well-lived life is its own reward. The last one, arena and utility. Life is an arena for the development and maintenance of our objectives and principles, and for the execution of principles in the pursuit of our objectives. That's a well-lived life. That is our arena and our opportunity. So wear your principles like tools on your belt. Utilize them to help you to be a better man or a woman, to live the life of your dreams, to record what you see along the way, and to leave some little bit of a legacy, not only in our progeny and in our works and our efforts, and the good that ripples like waves away from a puddle, a stone dropped in the brief puddle of time here. How melodramatic, but also maybe perhaps in some other more lasting form that is more representative of us, if we choose to write, paint, dance, sing, or make music, or whatever form of art we do. Altogether, this becomes the good life, a very, very worthwhile endeavor. Why not? This is your life. I don't think you're going to get another. No other chance. So this video is about to end. And you can stand up if you've gotten this far. And you can say, that was interesting. what's for breakfast? Maybe after breakfast, you'll ask yourself, what's next? What's in store for my great life adventure? Make it a good life. Take care. Now, into the unknown. That's the way I came. Here's the way I headed. I had to hold my camera steady. It's starting to act up. That's my first goal, Cold Gate, right over there. I'm behind. I'm way behind. I should be at Mount Wildness by now, but it's because I got lost last night. So, a little panicked right now. I should be on my way back. Well, actually, if I was there, it would be bad. Not too bad. I'm just going to go up to the Cold Gate and then turn around. A little anxious. Not able to really enjoy the moment in the moment. Feeling kind of just like, got to get there and back. With a little bit of pain in my leg. What about that? All those little anxieties. I don't know why I do this stuff when I'm so anxious sometimes. Maybe it's because of that. Because I like to face it down. All right. Still. See ya. Here's my approach to the Cold Gate. That's what I think is the Cold Gate. Big volcanic. Kind of like a mound. Still don't quite understand the geology that makes these. That black tongue that sticks out up there. Elsewhere I call these tongues of rock. And I'm starting to get a little anxious because the temperature is rising. I'm starting to sweat. I don't think the summer killer is anywhere around. But still, it makes me a little anxious. Definitely not trying for Mount Wildness today. Gave up on that goal more than an hour ago. If I can just make it to that hot gate, stop for a little bit, and then I'll get the hell out of here. Tired, anxious. This is exactly the type of experience, though, and moment that pays dividends later. Sorry, I'm fiddling with some. I've got some dried fruit in my pocket. Here, help makes the anxiety go away. Really hot. I don't like this heat. It's going to be a touch and go moment. That's definitely the hot gates, though. Cold Gate. And I could probably make it to Mount Wildness if I went this way up this valley, all the way through to the big wash, and then up. Are there any chance in hell I'm going to do that? No, thank you. Just going to reach that and turn around. And I know the feeling of euphoria. Not sure how long ago the camera switched off, and basically it does that because it's not working well anymore. Every time I jar it turns off. I didn't notice. I'm talking myself into a calm, and it's working just like it did back there in that wash. All I want to do is make it right up there. There's my goal, right up there. That's it. Camera's giving up the ghost. I don't think it's going to work anymore. I'm just going to sign off. I'll make it there, and I'll make it back. But I won't always. Neither will you. See ya. This is it. I switched to the phone camera because the big camera's letting me down, which I knew it would. I'm at the hot gate. Such a melodramatic ending earlier before. We'll all in, so we'll go. Good gosh, I thought I was going to cross that. That? That's the mountain range I've got to cross to get to Mount Wildness. Good God, what is that? It's an eagle. It's a sign to go back the way I came. Wow. This must be the happy hunting moon. That's it. That's as far as I'm going. Oh, hey. I wanted to apologize for that dramatic ending earlier. It seems so ridiculous. You all know. We all know we're mortal. The difference is some of us... Whoa, there goes another one. Another big eagle. That's huge. Maybe it's the same one coming back. That one's going that way. That's a sign. Go that way. Which is it? I will take that as a sign to go back. And I have to remember what that looks like. That's not a doable option. I thought I could cross those. Those are really formidable. I gotta just take a little break and then get out of here. Thanks for joining me on this hike. I haven't quite decided what I'm gonna call it. The Twin Eagle hike? Maybe. Sounds so corny. It's a sign! See you later. Bye-bye. That's the way I gotta go next time. That's the route to Mount Wildness. Would you just have a look at this incredible stone garden? All these rocks are like perfectly positioned. I don't want to touch a single one of them. Some of them almost so delicately balancing. Of course they weren't placed this way. They were left this way. They were embedded in the rock. And as the rock eroded away, they were left practically just standing. Some of them, look at that one. Look at that. Look at these over there. It's an incredible garden. Garden of stones. I'm back. It was a long, long hike. I didn't even want to rest when I got back. I just want to pack stuff up and get the heck out of here. Sometimes I'm like that. I was thinking about going to the bridge to right, but there's just nothing left in me. I am drained. I'm like a sponge just wrung clean. It was a good hike. The type of hike that I think, why the hell do I do this? Well, why would I ever do this again? Yep, I'll be back to do it again. So, there's that. Okay. See, I just can't stop looking at stuff. Everything's interesting. Bye for now, the Deepwater Wilderness. And it did it again. The camera just is at its end. I guess after over, gosh, what has it been? 7, 8 years? Served me well. Okay, bye-bye for now. Take care.